All right. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Nicole Davis, CEO of Tendenci, coming to you live from Houston, Texas. Thank you so much for joining us for day 2 of our 3-part corporate membership management workshop series. The last session, we covered the basics of corporate membership management, creating corporate membership types, setting up a corporate membership application, and seeing how both types and the application are tied to individual memberships. And finally, we set up custom notices, a process, once again, very similar to how individual memberships are set up. Today, we'll be covering corporate membership renewal strategies, corporate representatives, and finally, how to add and bind individual members to a corporate membership. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me share my screen so you could see my slides. Can you see my screen? Perfect. All right. So, excuse me, sorry. We've reviewed how to create the corporate membership types, the application, and notices. And so now we want to make sure that once corporate memberships join, we have the correct renewal strategy in place for when they are renewing. So we'll also learn how to utilize the corporate membership reps and then tie individuals to a corporate membership and practice importing corporate members as well as individual members to be tied to corporate memberships, okay? So a corporate membership renewal strategy is really dependent on the nature of your organization and your organization's workflows, because there are a few different options. One option would be to just put that burden or that responsibility onto what we call corporate membership reps. This would allow the corporate reps to handle all renewals, all renewals, membership management, if they have to communicate to a member or handle a member's invoices that's tied to the associate or to the organization, a rep would handle all of these things, okay? The second option is actually to allow individual members under an organization to pay for and renew themselves. So there is a setting in place so that you could toggle this one way or the other, essentially. Okay, in this case, individuals would receive notice of their expiry or their renewal window, depending on what notices you have in place, and they'll have a chance to renew their membership with the organization. But with the caveat that under this method, the corporate membership has to be renewed before the individual associated with it can, okay? So with this strategy, what we would do is probably set up a notice to go out to corporate members, maybe 30 to 45 days, for example, before their renewal window. And then again, right at their renewal window, right? And then have the individual notices staggered and going out later so that gives a chance for corporate members to have some leeway, right? To renew before the individuals are affected in any way. What it looks like when you're renewing everyone at one time is you can, once you click on your renewal link, you'll receive a notice in your inbox. Once you click on that link, you'll be taken to an interface that looks a lot like this. It has your membership details, right? What type you currently are, right? And then if there is a price associated with additional members, it shows you what that price is, right? We have donations enabled here actually. So there's a donation option. And then it gives you the option to renew all of the individual members under your organization, right? So this is what reps would essentially be dealing with if they're handling renewals for all of their members. And these members are all checked by default, but you can uncheck members and then, add other members after the fact if for whatever reason someone is no longer with the organization or they're not in a membership capacity with the organization, okay? So there's a setting in place, but it's under the individual membership settings, okay? You would navigate to the individual membership settings and go to the setting, allow organizational members renew, and under option 1, where you're allowing corporate reps to handle renewals, you would set that setting to false, okay? This one here. Okay, with option 2, you would set the individual membership setting, allow organizational membership renew to true. And then with this method, once again, individuals cannot renew until the corporate member is renewed, okay? So the corporate membership renews, and then the individuals, if they're handling their own renewals, can then renew. Okay. And we will go ahead and take a look at this really quickly. That is in the, so I'm going to click on members so that I'm in the membership module. This is the individual membership module. And I'm going to go to settings. Okay. And you can see the setting, allow organizational members renew. Okay. It's set to true right now, which means individuals under an organization can renew themselves so long as the corporate membership is renewed already. If I set this to false, a rep would be handling that renewal process, okay? Or an administrator. It could also be an administrator because the administrator has superpowers and can do anything on the website. Okay. Like I just mentioned, a site administrator has the ability to intervene and assist on behalf of corporate and individual members at any point in this process, right? An admin can renew corporate members along with their associated individual members, so long as they've paid their dues, right? You wouldn't want to, I mean, you have the option to renew someone and then chase them for money, but it's not the recommended route because if you do that for 100 members, you'd be doing that all year round, right? Administrators can also adjust invoices as needed while processing renewals. So you have the option to go to a corporate member, for example. Okay, let's take a look at, actually, let's take a look at these at the admin backend. Okay, I'm going to look at my corporate memberships and see if anyone has an invoice pending. It looks like some of them do. Okay, so I'm going to click on one of these. No, actually well, it looks like a payment was applied already, so I want to see if anyone has a balance. You know what? We can just make a balance. We're going to add a corporate member. Okay, I'm going to submit this, and it's going to tell me that the online payment is not set up. This is our sandbox site. We don't have a payment processor integrated with the sandbox site, so I'm just going to go back to my corporate members and navigate to the admin backend and click on my memberships to see who's pending. Let me filter by. Let me just search. Okay, here it is right here. And I've got an invoice right here, and it tells me that there's a balance outstanding. Okay. As an administrator, if you need to, you can do this for both individual and corporate members. You can adjust their invoice, okay? By clicking on adjust and saying if you want to add or subtract a certain amount. Maybe I'm taking off $50, okay? Reimbursement for something or other, I don't know. A lot of times what I like to do if I'm making notes in my renewal process, I will put in my initials and the date as well. Okay, and now this has a different balance on it, okay? Administrators can also add individual members to a corporate membership and upgrade corporate members as well. But the upgrade feature, it does upgrade the corporate member even in the middle of their membership cycle, right? But it does not produce a new invoice, nor will it change the expiration date. So if you would like to do a process where you would like to upgrade a corporate member, they would like to upgrade before their membership cycle is over for the year, right? If they would like to, and they will owe a fee for that upgrade, what I would do is actually, instead of using the upgrade feature, just expire their current corporate membership and create a new record with the appropriate corporate membership type, just like we discussed with individual members. So there is a nice upgrade feature. It's easy if someone needs to upgrade in the middle of their membership cycle, but is not paying anything, nor is their expiry changing. Okay, so if none of those details are changing, this is a quick and easy option. Okay, so let's take a look at that really quickly. Navigate to corporate members, and I see that ABC Company is a membership type of annual sales from 250K to 1 million. I'm going to upgrade them to a different membership type and submit, and that is done. That is it. No invoice is produced. No expiry details are changed. It's still the same. Okay. Nothing else has changed about the membership record except their membership type. And let's go over adding an individual to an organization. Okay, if you're filling out an application on behalf of someone, there are a couple ways to do it. One is just simply filling out the application on behalf of that individual. That would be add an individual corporate member. The second way is imports, and we'll get to that in just a couple minutes here. Right? So if we're adding an individual under an organization, what we'll do is click on that. I'll show you where that is. I'm in the corporate membership module, and I've clicked on add an individual corporate member. Okay. So I'm going to click on the company that I'm adding to. Let's do ABC Company. Okay. And I'm essentially filling out an application on behalf of that individual. I am hard pressed to find email addresses I haven't used already on the in the database. Okay, let's see. So it's a corporate membership individual. I'm not adding any fees for adding an individual to an organization. So that's why you see $0 here. There won't be any balance due. Okay. The membership is pending. So you can click here to edit and approve. So I'm going to go here. Okay. And then I'm going to switch them. If I don't have to edit anything, I'm going to switch them from pending to approve with this button here. Okay. And now we have a new member. And if I go to my corporate members and I click on ABC Company, I can see there are now 2 members. And one of them is Bonnie, my dog. Okay. So let's talk about corporate representatives. Who and what are corporate representatives in the Tendenci website? Corporate representatives are meant to allow users to manage corporate memberships without them counting towards an organization's allowed membership cap, right? So remember when we discussed implementing a membership cap for each corporate membership type, and they might not even have a cap. But most organizations will apply a cap of, a certain amount, even if their membership tiers aren't built around that. Okay. Usually you'll see a cap of 10 or so, or maybe even 5, right? Employees who are members in the system associated with the corporate membership. So you can add 2 types of corporate reps. There are dues reps and member reps. Both of these reps can access a corporate member's profile as well as handle invoicing and renewals for both the corporate membership and the individuals if you've chosen that workflow. But separating the reps into these 2 groups allows for more granular communications in the event that responsibilities are split and delegated as such by the organization with the corporate membership, right? So if the owner or the primary rep, right, the person who submitted the application in the first place, if they need to communicate with member reps or dues reps, they have the ability to do so. Same with site administrators, right? A corporate members reps are listed on their corporate profile. That's where you can see that information. You can also, there's a link to add and edit representatives right underneath it, okay? So we'll take a look at that really quickly. I can see that this is ABC Company. I'm gonna click here on the link and just go to their profile, okay? I could see that I have 2 representatives, but I can add and edit representatives, okay? And this uses an autofill for the database search when you're adding a rep. So this person has to already exist in your database. So the first step would be adding them as a user. Remember, they don't have to be a member, but they do have to be a user. Their information has to be in the website. So you need at a minimum their first name, last name, and their email. Okay. So we're gonna look for, actually, Bonnie just joined the organization. Let's make Bonnie a rep. Okay. Oh wow, she's joined 3 times. Okay, so we're gonna add the latest record that I just added today, and I'm gonna make Bonnie a member rep. Okay. Now, when I go to this ABC Company corporate profile, I can see that I've got two folks who are dues and member reps, and then one, I'm sorry, 3, and then one who is a member rep only, okay? So we know what corporate members can do, corporate reps can do, right? They can go and modify a corporate membership profile, access the membership record, right? For the corporation, they can and they can renew members. They would receive, you know, this an email which would take them to a renewal interface that looks like this, right? If they are responsible for renewing members. And they can also add additional members and additional reps to the organization, so long as an individual already exists. If they're adding a rep, so long as the individual already exists in the database, okay? So the user who submits the application in the first place on behalf of the organization, so the corporate membership application, is by default a corporate representatives for that organization. They are by default a dues and member rep. A rep is typically in an administrative role at their organization, right? But they can add themselves as a member to the organization as well, should they need to leverage member benefits offered by the association, okay? So they have the ability to add themselves as members, but they aren't necessarily, they don't have to be members. They don't have to count towards the membership cap, okay? And then they have the ability to add other members or send members to the application so that they can join that organization, okay? So like I just mentioned, a rep or administrator, of course, can add other account representatives provided that user account exists for them in the system already, okay? So they have to be in the user database. What you would do is navigate to the corporate membership profile, like I just showed you, click on add and edit representatives, and use the database autofill to search for the user by name or by email, okay? So you could start typing in someone's name first or last, or you could type in their email address and that will find them in the database, okay? So let's talk about adding new members to a corporate membership. I did show you briefly how you can add a member as an administrator, but the corporate rep also has that ability, okay? So the primary corporate rep, after having their corporate membership approved, can add themselves as a member of the organization, if applicable, and then share the link to join their organization to other employees. The rep can also fill out membership applications on behalf of the other individuals, right? So if you look at the corporate membership application, by default, it actually has, and we'll go look at that in just a second, it actually has instructions to follow, which is really nice. So let's take a look at that really quickly. By default, every Tendenci site is launched with a default corporate membership application, and it has this information here. So it just says, you know, a quick intro, a thank you for joining, right? A quick description of what corporate memberships are all about, okay? And then it gives you instructions. So the person submitting the application on behalf of the organization, who's also the primary rep, can follow these steps, right? So they complete the corporate membership application, and then once the membership application is complete or is approved, rather, they can register themselves for the individual membership profile with the organization, okay? And then they can also send other employees to the same place, or like we just discussed, fill it out on behalf of those members, okay? And then depending on the approval method of that membership type set up, so that would be this one here. Let's take a look at that really quickly. It's membership types, and this is the corporate membership individual, okay? So depending on the approval method that is set up for this specific membership type, either it will go through admin approval, or if paid for, it will be automatically approved if the certain settings are checked, okay? So administrators can do the same thing. They can also add members to an organization by filling out the individual of an organization application on behalf of the organization's employees. But if you're adding members in bulk, the best method by far is to import, okay? So you'll import individual members and use a binding method to bind those members to their respective corporate memberships. So let's talk about imports. There are two methods. You can do this in either order. You can either add corporate membership or import corporate members, right? Or if they're already existing in the database, go with this method. Or you can add individual members first and then add corporate members, import corporate members and bind them with those methods, okay? So we'll talk about both methods in just a second. So first, we're going to go with the order of doing corporate memberships first, okay? So just like with individual memberships, you're going to navigate to the corporate membership module, okay? And once you're in the corporate membership module, you'll be able to use this drop-down menu to select import, okay? It's going to ask for a security check. I'm just going to put in my super user password. You're going to download the template just like we do with individual members, okay? And I can't see the download because this is in the way. And so is this. Okay, so here's the corporate membership import template. Okay, just like with individual members, you are not going to change these field names. That is what helps map the data to your database, okay? I'm just going to add a row, okay? And I'm going to import my my details, right? So let's say I'm adding ABCD company. They're a competitor of ABC company, but maybe they're do more things. I don't know. Just add some basic details. They're, oh, you know what? If I'm doing this, I might as well stick with the theme. Okay. Let's go ahead and add the corporate membership type. We want to do that. So I'm going to open a link here because I need to see my IDs. Okay. So let's add this first type here. Okay. That's ID 14. Okay. That's the ID I'm going to use to import and or tell the system what type of member this is. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to export to a CSV. When I am doing an import or an export, I like to add the date that I'm doing it as well. Because if I had multiple imports, I want to keep track of what the latest data is. Okay. Oh, this is the find and replaced. Jeez. Okay. Um, okay, let's just save this to the desktop really quickly so that we can just find it really quickly here. Okay, so I have that exported as a CSV file. Okay, let's take a look at it and make sure everything looks right. Sometimes it does this weird thing in numbers where it adds a row on top. And then the system can't recognize it, but let's go ahead and give it a try. Okay, so I'm going to navigate to my corporate members. Oh wait, I'm already here. Okay, so I've downloaded my template. I filled out one member. I'm going to choose my file as a CSV. I don't need to use this right now because I'm doing this in a different order, okay? But we'll use this checkbox when we're doing it in the opposite order. Okay, so I'm going to preview my import. Um, company name. No, it's not recognizing any data. Total row 0. That does not make any sense. Okay, I don't know. Numbers does something weird. Let me do this. Okay. Oops. Okay. Right. Let me save this as a CSV. Memberships. And save as a CSV. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and preview this import. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and import this. This is a really good method if you're adding, more than a small handful of members at one time, especially corporate or individual, because you might be coming from another platform, or you might have just finally decided to make the switch from Excel sheets to a membership database, right? At which point you would have all of this data, and this is a very quick way of getting all that data into the system. Okay. So if you have UD fields on your corporate membership application or other fields that you're tracking, definitely do take a look at the corporate membership application and compare those fields to what's on your the sheet that you're importing, okay? So you'll only use the override feature if you're overriding existing data. Like, let's say you know for a fact that these 5 or 10 members are they've moved addresses, you've collected their new one, but it's not in the system and you want to update it all at the same time. At that point, you would use the override. But 9 times out of 10, you're just using the blank fields updated. okay? And then the unique identifier for corporate memberships is always company name. Okay, so now that we have a corporate membership in place, and we've already imported corporate members or they already exist in the database, then you're gonna navigate to the individual membership module, okay? And then do an import there or add a member there, okay? So let's do that. Let's, now that we've imported our corporate member, let's go to our individual members and do an import here. And there's a couple of key fields that we're going to be looking at, okay? Okay, so let's add my cat now. So we've already added my dog. Let's just do that as that's not what I wanted. Thank you. Ignore. Okay. Okay. Going to add an email. These are really the necessary fields for a user, but since we're importing a member, we also want to make sure we're importing the membership type, okay? So let me just delete this one here. So what we're going to look at is we're going to make sure the membership type matches that membership type that's mapped to that corporate membership type, right? So we're going to just confirm that. Okay, so we're going to look at our corporate membership types. And I see that, let's see, they're all, I think they're all mapped to the same type. Yes, here, it says it right here, okay? So the membership type, if individual members associated with a corporation, it's all this membership type here, okay? So we're gonna actually take a look at that and get the ID. So the ID of the corporate membership individual type is 3, okay? So that's what we're gonna put in the membership type field. Okay. Nope, this is the corporate member one. Where is the individual one? I did download it, right? Okay, let's do this again. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm gonna ignore company for now, okay? Because we're actually gonna map this a different way. First, I'm gonna find my type, okay, membership type, and that was ID 3, okay? And then let me show you the other key field we're going to be looking at, okay? So we've got the membership type, which is the ID of the individual of an organization membership type, or whatever membership type individual is associated with that corporate membership type I'm trying to bind this individual member to, okay? Now we need the corporate membership ID, or the ID of the corporate member, okay? So we're going to take a look at our corporate members at the admin backend. And the one I'm trying to bind this member to is ABCD Company. And I can see that the ID is 566, okay? This is the wrong one again. Where is my other sheet? There it is. Okay. corporate membership ID, 566. Okay. Now I'm going to label as individual members, okay? Because this is not corporate members any longer. I'm going to export it as a CSV file. Okay. I have way too many of these open. Okay. Now that I have my individual member import sheet ready, I'm going to navigate to the memberships module and click on import. Okay. I've already downloaded the template. That's what I was just working on. I'm going to update blank fields and I'm going to choose email as my unique identifier. Okay. And I'm going to do the, this should be the CSV file. I think. Oh, I should have labeled it as something different. Let me check. Let me rename this. Okay. Okay, so this one here. I've got my CSV file ready. I'm going to preview the import. Okay. All right, I've got one member imported, okay? Now let's look at my corporate members. And I can see ABCD company now has one member associated because I have imported and binded that member to the organization via the corporate membership ID on individual import, okay? So that is, again, that is doing it in the order of having the corporate memberships already in the database and then importing individual members and binding them to the corporate member. The opposite direction would be having the individuals already in the system and then importing the corporate members, okay? And at that point, we're going to use that checkbox, binding members to an organization by the company name. The only tricky thing with this one is that the names have to match. It can't be ABCD company and ABCD period or underscore company, okay? It has to be ABCD space company on both the corporate membership side and the individual membership side when you're binding an individual to their organization via the company name, okay? So again, we've got the corporate membership method first. So what we're going to do is we're going to navigate to the corporate membership module. And locate the corporate membership ID. Okay, we already did that. Okay, so we already covered importing corporate members, but now what we didn't cover when we import them is how to bind them to the individual members if the individual is already in the system. So what we're going to do is we're going to add an individual member, just regular method, okay? Let's go to the admin backend and look at this application on the front end, okay? I want to look at this one, okay? Because this is the application. uh, They had to have filled out. Actually, let's try something. Let's add Tom now. He already has his own company, but he can join mine too. Okay. Okay. I'm doing this as an administrator, so it takes me automatically to see if I want to review anything, and if not, if I want to approve it. So I'm gonna do that. Okay. Okay. As as an administrator, you do have the ability to bind this person to a corporate membership via the admin backend. That's the easy way. So if you're doing just one member, you can do that here from the admin backend, okay? But if you have a lot of memberships to bind, then you're going to do it on import, okay? So we have the member in the system, but I want to bind, now I want to import a corporate member and bind it to the individual member as opposed to the opposite way that we just did, okay? So, oops, let's I have to put in a company though, sorry. So let's um ABCDE company, okay? Let's just continue on with this. And I'm actually going to copy this because this is what I'm going to use in the corporate membership import. Because remember, these values, they need to match, okay? So I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to make sure that they are active. Yes, they are. Okay, great. Okay. Now I'm going to go to my corporate membership module and I'm going to go to import once again. Except this time, I'm going to make sure that I'm binding, and I'm going to use that feature, the checkbox, bind individuals via the company name. Okay. So I'm going to put in that value here, just ABCDE company. Okay. And I really don't need any other, but I'll just fill them out anyway. Okay, let's put what was that other corporate ID? It was 14, I believe. We'll just do 14 again. Okay. $240516.2 corporate members. Okay, I'm gonna save this. But what I really want to do is export it to a CSV. Okay. All right. So we've got our CSV file ready. I'm going to go ahead and select that now. And I'm going to identify the duplicates by company name. That's my only option. And then I'm going to check this box, bind members to corporations by their company names. Okay. So let's go ahead and preview the import. Okay, let's go ahead and import it. Everything looks good. Okay, let's check our corporate member roster. Okay. ABCDE company has one member associated. So I've now binded an individual to an organization by importing the corporate membership first and then the individual membership. And we've also covered binding members by doing it in the opposite direction, having the member already in the system and then importing the corporate member and binding them to that company, okay, via the company name. So I can see that if I click on my one member, there is Tom Weiss, who is my other cat, one of my other cats. Okay, so again, this is you are paying mind to one less really important field if you do it this method instead of the other method that I showed you, but those names will need to be identical. Okay, again, it can't be ABCDE underscore company and then be ABCDE space company and the separate imports, they have to match. Okay. So we have covered corporate membership renewal strategies. We've gone over corporate representatives. And finally, we have discussed binding individual members to corporate memberships in 2 different orders. So in our next session will be, it's actually May 28th. So we've got the space of about a week and a half for you to come up with questions. But I also will be coming up with FAQ to discuss in that time frame as well. And we have plenty of frequently asked questions pertaining to corporate membership. So I will have a deck prepared with some of those questions, but also a significant portion of that time will be covering, will be open floor for your specific Q&A, okay? So for your specific questions. So do you have, well, this is very fresh in your mind. Do you have any questions about what I've covered so far here today?
I'm okay.
Okay, great. Well, then I look forward to hearing some questions, not next week, but the week after. And I too will come up with some questions that have been asked a lot in the past, several years by clients who are using corporate memberships. Okay. And I look forward to seeing you at our next session. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.